Hello students, today I bring this lecture on the topic called Policy Planning and Institutions for Disaster Management. This is the second part of the lecture in the series of lecture on disaster management. Already we have looked at the part 1 of this series, which was about the legal and the policy making aspect of disaster management. Before starting the lecture, I shall introduce myself first. Myself Amrit Gajendra, I am faculty in civil engineering from Government Polytechnic Devgarh. Before going into the lecture, I shall talk about the specific instructional objectives of today's lecture. First, we'll see the global scenario of disaster management, that is how major global events has shaped each and every aspect of disaster management in our country. Next, we'll talk about the institutional framework or the institutional setup at various levels, that is the national, state, district, and the local level. Coming to the first slide in the lecture, it is written that India is vulnerable to different types of natural hazards like earthquake, flood, cyclone, tsunami, landslide, drought, and so on and so forth. So India is vulnerable or is threatened by various kinds of natural hazards or natural calamities, and we have also witnessed many of these natural hazards in our earlier the Bhuj earthquake or the 2004 Sumatra Andaman earthquake that triggered a massive tsunami on the coastline of India. So India is always threatened by numerous natural disasters. Now talking about the Constitution of India, we all are aware about the Constitution of India, and we also know the importance of the Constitution, how important the Constitution is for our country. Now talking about the disaster management, there is no detailed mention about it in the Constitution of India, and because of that reason only these acts, that is the Disaster Management Act of 2005 and these various policies, that is the National Policy on Disaster Management 2009, these various acts and policies have come into existence because of this fact only, that is there is no elaborate mention of disaster management in our constitution. So looking at the global scenario of disaster management, at the global level, the United Nations General Assembly declared the decade, that is from 1990 to 1999, as the International Decade of Natural Disaster Reduction. So this very decade, that is from 1990 to 1999, was declared as the decade of natural disaster reduction by the United Nations General Assembly. So any policy or any act that was made in our country or in different other countries, they were actually shaped by these conferences or by these conferences. Now the objective of this United Nations General Assembly declaring this particular decade as the decade of natural disaster reduction, the particular objective of this was to reduce the loss of lives because of natural disaster, to prevent the damage of properties, and to reduce the social and economic disruption, and to allow for risk assessment at the national level, and to prepare a detailed or comprehensive mitigation plan. Actually they wanted that each and every country should prepare a detailed mitigation plan at their own level. Now in the year 1994, again the United Nations conducted a conference, that is on disaster risk reduction, and this was conducted at Yokohama. This is the map of Japan, as you can see, and Yokohama is somewhere over here, and this particular conference was held at Yokohama, and that is why this is also called as Yokohama Strategy. And the major objective of this conference was to think about there should be a paradigm shift in disaster management. That is, earlier our methodology or our response or our strategy towards disaster management was more or less centered around the relief and rescue operations, but these days our focus is mostly towards mitigation and preparedness aspect of disaster management, and this is called as the paradigm shift, that is transitioning or shifting or changing from a relief centric attitude to a mitigation and preparedness centric attitude. Now Also, they also talk about the disaster resilient nature of the country. Disaster resilience means we should be able to adapt and recover from any kind of natural disaster. So they were mainly focusing on these two aspects, that is the changing of our strategy, and the second aspect is to make our countries disaster resilient. So here I have shown what do you mean by disaster, what do you mean by paradigm shift, that is transitioning from a culture of response and relief to a culture of prevention, mitigation, preparedness. Actually, this particular thing will help in mitigating the various risks that are associated with any kind of disaster by saving a lot of lives, by saving damage to the properties. So, and disaster resilience means it contains these various aspects like the risk management, hazard mitigation, and sustainable development, about which I have already discussed in my previous lecture. Now there was yet another conference which also was organized in Japan at this particular city called as Kobe, and this is called as the Hyogo Framework for Action for the year 2005 to the year 2015. And the very purpose of this conference was to review the Yokohama strategy, to share the good practices and the lessons that were learned from various natural disasters, identifying the various challenges associated with natural disasters, and developing awareness about disaster reduction policies, and making disaster risk reduction a local and national priority. So the main focus was to prioritize this concept of disaster management at all the levels. It should not be restricted only to the national level, rather it should be prioritized at each and every level, be it national, state, district or block level. Now, disaster management in India is evolving slowly. This act is the 2005 Disaster Management Act, and this policy which is written here, this is the National Policy on Disaster Management, which was introduced in the year 2009. And about the legal framework I have already discussed, and today in this lecture I will mainly focus on the institutional aspect of disaster management. So various institutions that have been created at national, state, district level and at the local level, we shall see these various organizations or institutions. So coming to the next slide, the first institution that we shall talk about is the NDMA, or the National Disaster Management Authority. So the NDMA is the apex body, or the top body, or the top organization in this particular hierarchy of institutions. This is actually the top organization. So it is written over here, National Disaster Management Authority, or NDMA in short, is the apex body of disaster management in our country. Now who is the chairperson of NDMA? The Prime Minister of our country is the chairperson of NDMA. Now coming to the objectives of NDMA. So what are the focus areas or the objectives of NDMA? That is to build a safer and disaster resilient India. Disaster resilient, I have already told, to be able to adapt and recover from any kind of disaster, that is called as disaster resilience. So to build a safer and disaster resilient India by fostering a holistic, that is a total approach, proactive, multi-disaster and technology driven strategy for disaster management. So these are the various aspects that have been taken up by this body to build a safer and disaster resilient India. Now the NDMA was initially established in our country by an executive order. Now coming to the next slide, under which section of the Disaster Management Act 2005 this particular NDMA has been written or talked about. So section 3 of the Disaster Management Act talks about the National Disaster Management Authority. So this particular section tells us that there should be a top organization like NDMA in our country. Now NDMA can have no more than 9 members. So it has restricted itself to only 9 members. Now the chairperson of NDMA shall choose or designate one among these 9 members as the vice chairperson of NDMA. So there is a chairperson who is nobody but the Prime Minister of our country, and among these 9 members he shall designate one as the vice chairperson. Now the tenure of the members of the NDMA is 5 years. So after 5 years their service is terminated. Now The NDMA is responsible for laying down the policies, plans and guidelines for disaster management and to ensure timely and effective response to disaster. So it lays down the various policies, the various plans and the guidelines, and it also ensures prompt and effective as well as efficient response in case of any disaster or in case of any emergency type of situation. Now looking at some few more points on NDMA. The NDMA also approved the National Disaster Management Plan of 2016. It looks after the disaster management plan of the various central ministries and departments. Under Section 6 of the Disaster Management Act 2005, it lays down the guidelines that should be followed by the state authorities in drawing up the state plan. Now, NDMA also oversees the provision and application of funds for mitigation and preparedness measures. So, it also oversees the various aspects of funds, that it decides how much fund should be allocated for relief operation, how much fund should be allocated for mitigation purpose. So, it also deals these various aspects also. Now, NDMA is operationally organized into 5 divisions. They are policy planning, mitigation, operation and communication, administration and capacity building. So these are the few points on NDMA. Now coming to the next organization in the hierarchy, that is the NEC or the National Executive Committee. Section 8 of the Disaster Management Act of 2005, it talks about the National Executive Committee or NEC in short. Now the National Executive Committee is responsible for assessing the NDMA in discharging its function. So it is nothing but an authority which checks the function of NDMA. Now it also ensures compliance of the directions issued by the central government. So any guidelines or any directions that have been issued by the central government, that should be strictly followed, and this is ensured by NEC. Now the NEC is composed of secretary level officers or the secretaries of 14 concerned departments or ministries of the Government of India. Some of the departments are like Department of Agriculture, Atomic Energy, Environment and Forest, Finance, and so on and so forth. So I have enlisted a few of these ministries or few of these departments. If you want to know more, you can look at some standard textbook or you can go to the internet. Now looking at few more points. NEC also works as a coordinating and monitoring body for disaster management under the guidelines of NDMA. The NEC under Section 8 of the Act is responsible for the preparation of National Disaster Management Plan for the whole country, and it also ensures that it is reviewed and updated annually. And finally, it provides assistance to the state government as well as the state authorities in preparing their own disaster management plan. Now coming to the next organization, that is the National Institute for Disaster Management. Section 42 of the Disaster Management Act 2005 talks about the establishment of NIDM or the National Institute of Disaster Management. Now the main focus areas of NIDM are capacity building. I have already in my previous lecture I have talked about the capacity building. Capacity building is nothing but improving the efficiency of our various organizations. Training and research, documentation and development of national level information base, and to work in partnership with various research institutions like IITs with the broad policies and the guidelines laid down by the NDMA. So these are the functions of NIDM. Now coming to another important organization, that is the NDRF, that is nothing but National Disaster Response Force. The section 44-45 of the Disaster Management Act talks about NDRF. It is a specialist response force that can handle any kind of disaster or threatening situation arising in our country. Now it is a multidisciplinary, multi-skilled, high-tech force which is capable of tackling any kind of natural or man-made disaster. Now you will be astonished to know that NDRF is the largest standalone disaster response force in the world. So it is the largest response force in the world, and the head of the NDRF is designated as the Director General. These Director Generals are the Indian Police Service or IPS officers on deputation from various police organizations. Now coming to the next point, there are 12 battalions in NDRF. and this is the composition of the 2 battalions. That is, we have 3 made from BSF, that is Border Security Force, 3 battalions made from CRPF, that is Central Reserve Police Force, 2 from CISF, Central Industrial Security Force, and 2 from ITBP, Indo-Tibetan Border Police Force, and 2 from SSB, that is Sashastra Sima Bal. So the total strength of each battalion is 1149, and each battalion is capable of providing 18 self-contained specialist search and rescue teams of 45 personnel each, including engineers, technicians, electricians, dog squads, and paramedics. So they have these professionals or these members of this battalion, they have everything, like there are engineers, there are technicians, electricians, dog squads, and so on and so forth. Now NDRF, in addition to being able to respond to natural disaster, has 4 more battalions that are capable of responding to any kind of CBRN disaster. CBRN means chemical, biological, radiological, nuclear disaster. Now coming to the function of NDRF, so it provides prompt and skilled response to disasters, pre-deployment of forces in case of disaster threatening situations, deployment in case of disaster, and imparting training to the state disaster response force, acquiring new skills and upgrading the existing skills through continuous training, and assisting the community people in their training and in their preparedness. Now coming to the next organization, that is the National Advisory Committee, or NAC in short. The Section 7 of Disaster Management Act 2005 talks about National Advisory Committee, or NAC. Now this committee is formed under the supervision of the chairman of NDMA. Now this committee, it mainly comprises of experts, scientists, and researchers, those who have got practical experience on disaster management at all the 3 levels, that is national, state, and district level. Now the committee prepares research based recommendation on different aspects of disaster management, and also gives advice to the NDMA regarding the formulation of policy at the central and state level. Now coming to the next organization, that is the NCMC, or the National Crisis Management Committee. The National Crisis Management Committee, or NCMC, is headed by the Cabinet Secretary of the Government of India. So the Cabinet Secretary of Government of India is the head of NCMC, or the National Crisis Management Committee. Now the NDMA can handle any kind of natural and man-made disaster, but certain types of situations, like those requiring the close involvement of security forces of our country and the intelligence agencies, like terrorism or law and order situations, serial bomb blasts, hijacking, air accidents, CBRN, etc. These kind of situations are all handled by the National Crisis Management Committee. Another point is, National Crisis Management Committee is supported by the Crisis Management Group, whose head is the Central Relief Commissioner. Now going down by one level, we have the state level. We have already discussed about the national level. Going down by one level to the state level. In the state government, we have, or at the state level, we have the SDMA, or the State Disaster Management Authority. Section 14 of the Disaster Management Act 2005 states that there should be a State Disaster Management Authority at the state level. Now the way NDMA is chaired or headed by the Prime Minister of our country, in the similar fashion you can say that the SDMA is headed by the Chief Minister of the state. Now there are 8 members. All these members are appointed by the Chief Minister, and the Chief Minister will designate one among these 8 members as the Vice Chairperson of SDMA. Now SDMA is mandated under Section 28 to ensure that the departments of the state should prepare their own disaster management plan as prescribed by the national and state authorities. Now going to the next slide, SDMA also lays down the policies and plans for disaster management in the state. It helps the state government in the implementation of its disaster management plan, and it also gives recommendation regarding the allocation of fund for various purposes like mitigation and preparedness, and it also reviews the disaster management plan of the different departments within the state, and the state disaster mitigation fund is available with the SDMA. Now the way we had National Executive Committee at the central level, in the same way we have the State Executive Committee. The State Executive Committee's purpose or its aim is to assist and support the SDMA in its function, and the section 22 of the Disaster Management Act talks about SEC. The committee prepares the state disaster management plan, and apart from the planning aspect, it is also involved in taking up and supervising the relief and rescue operation at the time of disaster. So it not only prepares the state disaster management plan, but it also takes up the various rescue and relief operations at the time of disaster. Now coming to the district level, at the district level we have the District Disaster Management Authority, which has been mentioned under section 25 of the Disaster Management Act 2005. The chairperson of the District Disaster Management Authority is the district collector or the magistrate, and the DDMA acts as the planning, coordinating and implementing body for disaster management at the district level. So whatever disaster management aspects, whatever it be related to planning, coordination, implementing, it does everything. So it also prepares the district disaster management plan and ensures that the guidelines laid by NDMA and SDMA for prevention, mitigation, preparedness and response measures are strictly followed. Now coming to the institutional framework at local level, the local authorities ensure the capacity building of the officers and the employees for managing disaster, carrying relief operations, rehabilitation and reconstruction activities in the affected areas. Local authorities include Panchayati Raj institutions, municipalities, district and cantonment boards and the town planning authorities which control and manage civic services. So this is how the disaster management institutional framework at the local level looks like. So now we have seen the various organizations. So this is the question set for you. So after watching this particular video lecture, I am hopeful that you can answer these questions very easily. So the first question is, what is NDMA? Write its functions. What is NDRF? And in the question number 3 you have to write a short note on NEC, that is the National Executive Committee, NIDM, NCMC, National Crisis Management Committee. In question 4 we have what is SDMA or the State Disaster Management Authority and DDMA and write about their functions. And in question 5 we have briefly explain the institutional framework for disaster management in our country. So these are the few questions which you can take up after watching this video lecture. And still if you have any doubt in this particular lecture, I have given my contact information. This is my email ID, you can mail me your queries or doubts, and this is my WhatsApp contact number. So if you have any doubts and queries, feel free to mail me or contact me through my WhatsApp number. Thank you.
झीटीए तो माटी आम सामाजिक और पारिवारिक जीवनर मूल कथाटी से माने आगकू गले आगकू जीव संसार आम झील मैंने आ पुओंकठू पछरे नाहांती एबे तो बदली गलानी समय बदली गलानी जुग से झील माननकू आहुरी आगकू नहीं आत्मनिर्भरशील और स्वावलंबी करने ओडिशा सरकार सुदक्षा योजना रे सरकारी ITI माध्यम संपूर्ण मागणारे जोगई देउछंती सबु प्रकार उत्कृष्ट मानर वैषयिक ज्ञान कौशलर तालीम। एबे आम झील रहिबे सबुठू आगरे सबुठू उपरे।
मु सफल मु कुशली मु सुदक्षा।